we have one microphone, so if you'd like to come and ask a question from here.
Hi, this is a question for Auckland City Council indirectly. How much does it cost Auckland City ratepayers to put fluoride in the water per year?
I don't know the answer. The fluoride added to the water is not paid for by Auckland Council directly. It's paid for by Watercare. I don't know whether it shows in their accounts or not. Somehow I kind of doubt it. But it's a very good question, and certainly I'll get the answer.
Very good. Once we have the answer from Wayne, we will be able to publish it on our website or on our Facebook page. So please subscribe. Fluoride Free Auckland.
Okay.
Okay, next question, please. Vinny?
I've seen quite a lot of debate on the fluoride issue, and one side seems to use evidence, facts, citations, literature, and the other side just makes stuff up. So I was hoping that in future, when debates are held, that the debaters would in fact have to swear an oath, kind of like in court, that they will talk about the tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth. So help you God. Has anybody else got a question? Penny Bright, come in. This is our candidate, Penny Bright, for Auckland City Mayor.
Are you people aware that Professor Sir Peter Gluckman, who is purportedly the New Zealand Government's chief scientific advisor, by the 10th of July is going to reply to an Official Information Act request that I sent to him when he made this grand pronouncement that the science was settled. I asked him upon which science was he relying in making this statement, and gave links to 2 different lots of evidence and asked him if he'd read it. So it took them 6 days to get back to me, but I've been promised a reply by the 10th of July. And as someone who has spent hundreds of hours studying the quality of Waikato water back in 2003, before the Waikato pipeline, I can tell you that the Ministry of Health and Watercare, who don't seem to care less when it comes to public health, in my considered opinion, are not to be trusted. They are not. And I have actually got that evidence of the research that I've done, and you can read it for yourself. And it's no wonder so many people in New Zealand die of cancer. It's not just the fluoride. We're allowed to drink a pesticide soup. Yeah, anyway, but yeah, so there's evidence there. Just let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next question, please.
Thank you. Can I have 2 minutes? I'm a dentist and a doctor. I just wanted to say thank you to all our wonderful speakers. It was absolutely marvelous. I'd like to speak to you individually afterwards because I need some view evidence from my Parliament talk that I'll be doing soon in Parliament. So I just want to share something very quickly, because the more this subject keeps getting bigger and bigger, the more I go, okay, it's interesting that we keep talking about things, but nobody is really touching on the actual problem and the solution for the problem. Jane, you did a great job at specifically saying, what is the solution? I'm just going to read one thing, which is, I'm not going to read a book, I'm just reading a quote so I don't get it any wrong. It is from my book, this is my book, but I'm not reading my words, I'm reading Martin Luther King's words. I have a dream. We must concentrate not merely on the negative expulsion of war, but the positive affirmation of peace. It is not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. Now, I think we all know he was really serious about sacrificing for the peace that he was looking for. The problem here is tooth decay. And for some funny reason, which I don't understand, I graduated as a medical doctor and a dentist, and I just practice dentistry now, and I educate and write and all these things. But for some reason, we separated teeth from the rest of the body. I don't know who came up with that crazy idea in the first place, and why the rest of us accepted it. And then we started focusing on different aspects of teeth or the rest of the body as everything is just different. And then we talk about fluoride for teeth, when actually, whether it's fluoride in toothpaste or fluoride in the water or whatever, fluoride is a known toxin, that's fact. Like mercury is a toxin, lead is a toxin. We know these are facts. These are not maybe, if, but, whatever. It is so. And the question that arises is, why are we doing that? Oh, to provide tooth decay. Well, excuse me, sir. Is tooth decay a fluoride deficiency disease? Who is foolish enough, out of any of our fraternity, to stand up and say, yes, it is? Laurie, you would immediately know the answer is, if any dentist or dental professor stands up, we will call them, excuse me, sir, you're a fool, please sit down. You cannot claim that. Everybody knows that, so it's not a fluoride deficiency, like scurvy is a vitamin C deficiency disease. Put vitamin C, scurvy goes away. Goiter, iodine deficiency. Put iodine, goiter goes away. That's known cause and effect. You don't put fluoride in, tooth decay goes away. So if it's not a fluoride deficiency disease, what is it? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a bacterial infection. It's actually the most endemic bacterial infection of humankind worldwide, second only to periodontal disease. Funny enough, both oral diseases, and they're both bacterial diseases. They're biofilm imbalance diseases, exacerbated by acid and sugar. Well, in the case of periodontal disease, other metabolic disorders as well make it worse. But tooth decay, if we can just talk that as a one subject, which I don't think so, it should be a separate subject, but let's just focus on that. It is bad bugs that are fed sugar and acid. What the hell does fluoride have to do with all this? Teeth with fluoride dissolve in acid a little bit slower. That's the key word here, a little bit slower than teeth without fluoride in them. That's all. They still dissolve, they still rot. And the evidence, we see it every single day. Fluoride or no fluoride, I see it in my own mouth. As a dentist, as a child, every day I had decay. When I stopped fluoride, when I started looking at the problem and decided I'm not going to have tooth decay anymore, I didn't. My daughter never used fluoride toothpaste, never used any kind of fluoride. She's decay-free, she's 12 years old. That's not by accident, that's by intention. Because I created alkaline balance, controlled her biofilm, controlled her habits. Thank you very much. It is not a fluoride. So why are we arguing, sorry, I'm taking too long. If anybody has another urgent question, please stand up so I can shut up. Yeah. Today I was driving in Newmarket for fun. I'm 14 years in Auckland. I know exactly where I'm going. Anyway, I got out of this car park. First time I parked there, driving down the street, little street to go onto Broadway, and I'm going, why is this car parked that way? It's weird. And then I'm standing there waiting for the cars to pass so I can get out to Broadway. A guy passing by going, what's wrong with him? And then this other lady indicating to turn into where I am, while she actually supposed to go down. I'm like, what's wrong with these people today? And then I get out when the railroad is telling me, oh geez, I was driving the wrong way on the one-way street. Nothing was wrong with them, I was driving the wrong way. See, sometimes we just don't see things as they are, and we start to blame others. Oh, what's wrong with them? There's nothing wrong with them. It's, am I going in the right direction? And the whole anti-fluoride thing is correct. What is more important is what are we pro? We should get rid of fluoride in all its forms, but only on a path to get better health. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We might take the chance and interview you later on. Yes, thank you. And in fact, if you were a medical practitioner and you're here in the audience, we would like to get your support if you really, for this cause and your anti-fluoridation, would like to interview you. If you are still pro-fluoridation, could you please come up and ask questions so we can deal with that? Okay, who's next? Yes, come on up. And questions only, please, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I'll try to make this as brief as I can, and it's some of us have been around for quite a long time here in New Zealand, but I'd like to, 3 times we've been here and we're listening to Dr. Paul Connor, And that Jack, to my mind, he was looking very fatigued because of the effort. He went the ethical way rather than the paycheck way. And when he approached the university down in Otago, where there was a Dr. Bryce Edwards, but he was refused permission to address the students there. And why I mentioned Bryce Edwards, he gave an address up here in Auckland, and he spoke about the irrelevant voter. Now, that is extremely urgent and evil to think that people's vote doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter, you've got 800,000 people here in New Zealand that don't bother to vote. It is really important that we stop the Hollywood stuff of personality voting, and we go for a policy, a person that's capable of representing a particular policy, be it health, education, roads or whatever. And if they decide to stray off the path that the electorate has put them into place for, or her, there should be an immediate right of recall. Without that right of recall, your vote is absolutely worthless. And incidentally, most of you people will know that New Zealand has been selected by the IMF for a bit of, what do you call it, or social engineering. And I'll just make a brief, as quick as I can. Demo difficulties in Auckland are hard to organise. Some of us have been around long enough to know the value of them to the state because they monitor them, and they can keep a log on any stirrers or revolutionaries or activists or whatever. You've got thousands that have had time looking for answers on these different demonstrations that we've been up to, and they come up against a brick wall with these various officials and delegates, etc., that describe themselves as union representatives, but they're actually state employees. And they'll just quick, I'll make it very quick, big government, big industry in a compliant state and vile media propaganda, and $7,000 to dump a truckload of rubbish. It all needs looking at, but don't forget the right to recall.
Thank you. Okay, so could you please, sort of stick to questions only, yeah?
Yep,
So
yep.
don't use your time to just deliver your message.
Yep. Good.
Do you have a question?
No, thanks.
Okay,
Have they
thank you.
ever chucked a tooth in like an ampule of like just pure on fluoride acid to see if the tooth dissolves or not?
Can I make one question, please?
Can we let some other people?
Just chuck a tooth in
Okay.
a bowl of acid and see if it eats it away
Oh,
and it makes it shiny.
Okay, we've got very limited time, so please stick to one question and no more declarations, okay?
The question is if you've heard of this. Never thought I'd be an elder 70 talking about. Okay. I never thought I'd be an elder at 70 talking about something 27 years ago where I visited a home in Auckland. It's the Bruce Cathy's sister's boyfriend. And he had gotten a letter from Sir Devmere Robinson stating that in 1937, when the Nazis found out that if you shifted fluoride from 5 parts per million to 20 parts per million, the resistance of the concentration camp prisoners fell out. No more resistance. Had you heard of that?
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I just wanted to ask you, everybody, we've got surveys going around which are, do not consent forms. If you'd like to sign one, I'll have some people passing the boards to you. So if you could just please sign if you support that. The next question, please, and very quickly. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a very simple question, similar to Vinny. Are we in Auckland or not? Yes or no? Yes. No, the reason why I've asked that, because the amount of people here for this, they say there's 1 million people in Auckland, and there's only 5 people here. I think that Auckland is really poor, and I heard that down in Hamilton they were much, much stronger in this fluoride fight, or what do you want to call it, because I'm simple, I have to use simple words. It's not is poor. Auckland needs a kick in the, I won't say it, but that's my question. Are we in Auckland?
Yes, thank you. Okay, next question, please.
And this will be a question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You can put you down.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise it was
Yeah,
a queue.
could we go to the end? Okay, next question. Sorry about that.
I'm asking questions as from a local board, because I'm on a local board, and you know, I'm really concerned about getting something done about this debate, and wonder how long it's taken Hamilton to get to this stage. But what I'd like to know is, you people come from all over the place. How can we get you coming out and educating the public if we set up some meetings closer to that way, which might make it easier for some people to get to those meetings and make an informed choice? Because we're talking about people with babies here and bringing up these young children. I've also been a hospice volunteer, home care volunteer for 20 years, and I've seen people, as I say, wondering in my own mind, what's going on? What's going on? And there's so many things that fit into that. So I just wonder what we can do to get people educated about this in our area.
I think you're seeing that here tonight, and I think it devolves upon individuals like Marina and our man here came, and everybody else who's got an interest in putting their weight behind the wheel. That's what happens. It's power to the people. Everyone pushes, the wheel turns. So this is a very fine example of this beginning of an activation of the mind of the Auckland public. So well done, everybody. Brilliant.
Now, any questions related to organisational side? I think it would be good if if we could leave them for a bit later. But now, just to let the doctors go, could we have only stick to questions about health and the presentations themselves? Okay. Okay, 1 minute each. Come on.
Good evening. Good evening. My question's for the councillor here. We had a presentation here that stated the safe or recommended dose was 0.01 parts per million. Is that correct? Yes? Okay. Do we have access to the measurements that are taken of the water before the fluoride's put in and afterwards? Do you have that information?
Marina, do you have that information?
I mean, is that information available? I haven't come across that information yet.
All councils carry that information.
Yes, they should know it.
Right, so we can obtain that information through the council.
Yeah.
Do you want me to answer?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I did direct a question to the council, and I got a reply, and it covers off the fluoride concentration from those water treatment plants that supply the metropolitan area. So I do have some information here. Having said that, something I don't have is information that's pertinent to the particular type of fluoride, which is around the hydrofluorosilicic acid. So I don't have as much detail as I need, and I will be asking for some more. So there is information available, and I understand that it's public.
That does state that it's above average, right? Above the recommended dose by about 7.
That is correct.
70. Is that 70 times the recommended dose?
I'm not an expert, so I'd prefer to give that to someone who knows more than me. So the question is the dosage in the water supply more than what it should be?
Well, the dosage in all these areas is between 0.7 and 1 milligram.
Which is
and that's the recommendation of the Ministry of Health.
Actually, sorry, I can't say that. It's in grams per metres cubed.
So you'd have to...
That's an equivalent.
Is that the same as milligrams per litre? Yes. Yeah, so it's all within what the Ministry of Health recommends, between 0.7 and 1 milligram per litre.
And is that the same as what the slides here have shown tonight?
Well, what we've been showing here tonight is we believe that fluoride at that level that they put it in the water between 0.7 milligrams per litre and 1 milligram per litre does put us at health risks that we've talked about tonight, yes.
Especially infants.
And infants in particular.
Right, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Health related, yeah? Come on,
Thank you for coming. Have any of you attempted to organise a public debate with Peter Gluckman or Jonathan Broadbent on this issue?
Policy is not to engage debate.
Really?
Mary, come on over.
Okay.
I want to invite Mary here, Mary Byrne from Wellington, who's our national coordinator. Can we give her a round of applause? This woman has been leading our campaign on the forefront. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Wellington. Come on.
Hi, I'll just say quickly, I met Jonathan Broadbent in Wellington, and I introduced myself, and I said to him it would be really good to have a public debate, and he said that no, he wouldn't debate us because we are pseudoscience. So I said to him that the National Research Council was not pseudoscience, and he said that we're misinterpreting the science, and he was quite angry.
Well, he could prove that. He had a case.
Mary, public debate.
Backbenches.
Yeah, we would love
He was on backbenches.
That's where I met him.
Yeah, he said that it doesn't matter what kind of fluoride, any kind of fluoride.
Yeah.
That's a quote.
Yes.
Any kind of fluoride is safe.
So we are going to organise a public debate in Auckland, where we're going to be inviting the medical expert on our side and inviting Ministry of Health to debate that. So that's coming up. So if you'd like to speak, you can come up to the microphone. This next question, thank you.
This is hopefully a very brief question, which is that I'm wondering about another possible confounding factor. Has anybody done any research on the amount of exposure that teeth actually get when drinking? Because when I drink, most of the liquid or water just goes straight down, and if it touches any teeth at all, it would be only the inside of a few of those teeth. So the question is, do you know of any research in the variability of topical exposure when drinking?
There has been some done, but it's sort of not accredited research. What happens when you drink water is that your tongue forms a sort of a U-shaped valley, and almost all the water is funneled directly down your throat. There is some contact, and it's been tested with coloured syrups, which admittedly have a thicker consistency than water, but the actual content on the teeth is negligible, yeah.
Thank you. Next question.
Once again, thanks for coming out. This is quite a specific question. I'm just wanting to know from a bar background, if I'm serving someone heavily intoxicated, is it best to serve them water as opposed to, say, like juice or bottled water? So that's my question.
If they're heavily intoxicated, they probably need something to eat.
Well, if you can be sure that the bottled water doesn't have fluoride in it, that's what I'd go for. The juice would put them at risk of tooth decay.
One of the things that people actually don't know is that not all bottled water is fluoride free. Yeah. So if you can ring the next available water company and ask them that question, we might be able to put some pressure on them. Each of you, right? You can ask that question. Okay, next question, please. Yes, Lisa? Come on. Is it working?
Thank you. Well, water in a box doesn't have fluoride in it because it's spring water. And if you look and it says spring water, you need to just check that it's spring water, but spring water is what you want. Sorry, I'm answering a couple of questions. Another one, to answer Hey Pinky's question about the Nazis and fluoride. Dr. Paul Connett researched that very, very thoroughly, and there is actually no link. It's not true. Sometimes stories are put out there so that then when people like us use those stories, the powers that be can discredit us by saying it's nonsense. And that is actually something made up in order for people to discredit us
to say it's nonsense. So please don't use that one. I've seen it around and it is a problem because we want to be absolutely sure we've got all our facts correct. Sorry, I know it's not a question, but my question is, on a political nature, the government right now is trying to take as much power away from local boards and from local council as possible. So if our strategy is to work with local councils, we could have the rug pulled out from under our feet very quickly. So my suggestion is that we have another strategy. Do you have any ideas as to how we can do this?
I would suggest that irrespective of whether the government wants to pull the rug out from underneath councils, you still need to lobby councils, lobby local boards, and if they have some responsibility at this point, get them to take a position. You can't wait for the government. And this applies to not just this issue, but a whole variety of issues. Just one comment that I would make, just around the issue of teeth care as it goes to my family. There was a piece of research in New Zealand that was done some time ago, I think it was in New Zealand, around bacteria that inhabit your mouth. And there is a bacteria that you can get, you can buy it from chemists, so effectively you can self-inoculate yourself with bacteria that enhances your teeth and prevents caries. Most people don't know this. And if you actually have that bacteria in your family, it's transferred orally when you kiss children and so on. Most people don't know this. You can get it from a chemist. If the chemist doesn't have it, you can get it.
I just want to thank all of you for getting involved. Ronald Reagan, whatever you think of him otherwise, his greatest quote to me is, "The scariest words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government and I'm here to help.'" It starts one person at a time. Margaret Mead said to never ever underestimate the power of a group of concerned citizens to change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And you're the beginning, and we're going to take this all the way to the top. And New Zealand's going to go fluoride free, I believe that.
Thank you so much. Okay, I will take 2 more questions really quickly. Okay, come on through.
I just have a medical question. If there's any research done on the accumulation of fluoride in your body held as a toxin, and if it is, when you stop consuming fluoride, what can you do to detoxify yourself?
In adults, 50% of the fluoride you take in remains in the body, only 50% is excreted by the kidneys. In children, it's thought to be a higher percentage that remains in the body. And of course, if you've got underfunctioning kidneys, you won't be able to excrete as much. The half-life, if that's something that you're familiar with, of fluoride is about 20 years. So that means that it takes 20 years for that amount of fluoride to reduce to half the amount. So actually, it's an incredibly slow process. I don't know truly how you can speed it up. I know that calcium is given as an antidote if you've had an acute exposure, but I'm not sure that taking calcium supplements will help. Does anyone else know of any way to get rid of it?
I came across a study in India where they have a great fluoride toxicity problem, and for the regions where they could not control the amount of fluoride in the water, they found some benefit in putting people on vitamin C and giving them little extra doses of magnesium, but that more or less helps your body cope with the fluoride better, reduces the oxidant stress. It doesn't necessarily mobilize the fluoride.
Right, thank you so much. I just want to say, don't leave yet, because we've got something we want to ask you. And I just want to say a couple of words to these great people who came all the way from different parts, for us, for Aucklanders, to hear this evidence. And we're going to put these videos on Facebook. Please go to Facebook and like us, Fluoride Free Auckland, and you will get those videos. And you can share them with your friends, and you can send them to people who couldn't come, or people who, you know, keep talking about fluoride being good for you. Now, I just wanted to give the applause to these people. Could we please put our hands together? Thank you so much. It's been really great having you. And just for you Aucklanders, and for those who came all the way, we have something we want to ask you. If you want to get involved in what we're doing, there's a huge number of people who are getting involved every day, and there are real simple things you can do, each of you individually. It doesn't cost anything for you to do that. It might take a click, it might take a like, it might take to forward an email, simple things. If you want to be involved, could we please organize this hall into 4 groups? And I'm going to ask those of you who live in the West to walk. You see that's Jimmy out there with the board up. If you can go to Jimmy and you can leave your details with him and tell him what is it that you can do. Okay? Because each of you have very individual skills, individual things and value you can add to this movement. And we know that some of you are like extremely, you know, well-connected people, and you could give some things that nobody else can do. Okay, so that's West. Now we have Central Auckland here, and that includes Mount Eden all the way to, what's it, Linfield? Linfield, and on the other side it's all the way to... Yeah, so all those areas, so Central was quite large. If you don't know, ask Kane, he'll tell you. Now we've got North Shore here, Laura. If you can please go to her and she will take your details, and sometimes it could be just a phone number or could be email address, or she might just like you on Facebook. So if, do we have Hayden here? Hayden is over there, that's South Auckland. If you can please go to Hayden. Who else? Okay, Peter, where's Peter here? Peter. Now, does anybody, is anybody here from East Auckland? Okay, what's your name, sir? Lily. Lily, could you come to the middle? Oh, Peter is here. Okay, Lily. Peter will be your man. Okay, so East people go to Peter. Peter, if you can hold your hand up. Yeah, that's Peter there. So if we can just do that really quickly, that way we can actually create quite a powerful movement to get this sorted. And I'll tell you, these people can tell you what we've prepared, okay, in Auckland, and how to make it really powerful and strategically viable. So we're working lawyers, doctors, accountants, people with media. We're working all together. Nobody's getting paid for this, but I tell you, there's nothing better than motivated people that know that something is so unfair happening. You agree with me? Okay. Thank you so much for your attention tonight.